You can use a crochet for so many different things, right? Spiritual and physical protection, healing, love, prosperity, legal issues. So when I'm talking about spiritual protection, that's a lot when it comes into play with evil forces coming in to try to block you, to try to stop you. If somebody else is doing negative spiritual work against you, so spell work, that would be something like that, the juju, the witchcraft, the black magic. That's where I think was that. So anyway, any of those types of things, if somebody is sending something against you, you can absolutely use a crochet to block that work from working against you. Okay. You can also use a crochet for spiritual attacks, right? Physical attacks. So when it comes to physical attacks, you can actually use a crochet to stop somebody from shooting you. Okay. You can use a crochet to stop somebody from being able to stab you or enact any type of physical violence if they want to just like attack you physically and jump on you and things like that. There are different remedies that you can use to. It usually what's going to happen here is that they may see you, they may desire to harm you, to attack you. But when you're using that, a crochet could be in the form of some kind of amulet or something like that. Matter of fact, I have in the store here. Let me show you guys. This is one of my stores, right? So you see this pouch here. This looks like, right, the regular Eleki chain. Matter of fact, it's very similar to my Eleki chain for IG. I don't have that one on today. But this right here is a pouch with actual spiritual medicine inside of it. So it works to thwart the plans of somebody who is trying to come at me physically and things like that. Okay. I have a question here, Alafia EO. What I'm learning is that if we need to do about reread and a crochet now, sometimes it's a piece of this conversation is so broad. Right. So the thing is, Ebo, you're always going to do Ebo whenever you get in EFOP reading. That's how that goes. A crochet is the spiritual medicine or remedies. It's not going to come up for everyone that you always have to do a crochet, or you have to take a crochet rather. And even if it comes up, it's not like a requirement, though it can really and truly help you. This is the way of life, right? So I'm even happy you said that the conversation is so broad because it is a way of life. These are things that we are constantly doing to help us to achieve our destiny because unfortunately, there are forces that are constantly trying to stop us from achieving our destiny, right? Even us, and in our own selves, our ego, we get out of alignment when we're not working with Ori. And whenever we get out of alignment, we open up portals and doors for those evil forces to work against us. Right? And we even work against ourselves when we are out of alignment with Ori. So that's how it goes, And in the universe, there are balancing forces. So we got to consistently work against those forces. But yeah, so going back to what I was saying too, you can protect yourself against those physical attacks, those spiritual attacks, things like that. It can even be enacted for healing purposes if the illness is spiritual in nature. That's important too. Otherwise, you probably just do the herbal remedies. You could even do allopathic medicine if you desire to do so. I hesitate there because I'm not really into promoting allopathic care. What I mean by allopathic is like the Western medicine or what have you, just because I know a whole lot about it. But, it can be beneficial from time to time. So I'm not saying not to use it at all, but use it with discretion, know what you're doing. You can also use a crochet for prosperity. And this is the one that can get a lot of people into a space of like, well, I can just go and, get a whole bunch of money coming down or what have you. It doesn't work like that either. Even the same thing with love, because these two are often lumped in that category where people feel like they can just go and do some spiritual work and all of a sudden they're going to have the relationship that they desire and the money that they desire without having to put in the work. And you do. And that's what I meant before too by that open portal, especially with both of them. I wouldn't even say especially with both of them. So when it comes to you trying to seek out love, for instance, or even money, you need to have some kind of doorway for that to flow through. You don't just go and take a crochet to bring you love and you just sit in the house expecting somebody to just come to your door, right? It could happen that way. I'm not saying it won't happen that way, but typically you want to create some kind of entryway for you to get the thing that you want. The same thing with prosperity, with finances. It's not like you just take a crochet and then money just rains down from heaven for you. No, you either, if you're looking for a job, then you would want to go out and put your application out, get, to do your resume, do your CV, go out and do interviews and things like that. The crochet is going to help you to attract the right job for you. If you have a business, for instance, it's not just, I'm going to take a crochet and people are just going to come to my door and I don't have to do anything. No, you still have to work. You still have to treat people right. You still have to have good customer service skills and all of the things that it takes to run a business. So that's how that works. I'm going to take another question and I'm going to get to the legal part of it because that's important too. So for those who don't know, a pisa is appeasement of the mothers and only can be done by those within the tradition. The Wariri or Evo is a prescription when you have IFA or Orisha divination. Well, we have IFA or Orisha divination. Okay, yes, absolutely. So thank you for that. Definitely. Those are the things that will come along, but they, even though they are separate, they are kind of lumped together a lot of times, especially when you get a reading. So let's see. Yes, there are a lot of different things, and I'm going to even get into the discrepancies between the Ebo and the Akose, etc. So, and also I wanted to stop here and talk about the legal issues as well. So if you're dealing with a legal battle, right, and you want to go and do some Akose, if you are in the wrong, it's not like the Akose is going to keep you out of jail, so to speak, right? It may be that your sentencing is lessened so that you don't get the maximum, right? It may be that if you do the Akose, that things will go better for you, right? Because the prison system is not the best or the greatest place to be. Things like that, you may be shown favor, and to the point where your situation is lessened. It's not as burdensome as it typically would be. You can take a crochet to protect you while you are in the prison system from so many horrible things that go on in that particular environment. But it's not like you go and take a crochet and you actually did something wrong and it's going to get you out of it. No, that's juju. People, unfortunately, they do juju and black magic and things like that to enact those types of situations. And it can be done and it can work if it's done properly. But that's not what we're talking about here. So I do not want anybody to get that part confused at all. There are specific Akose preparations that are designed to cleanse out that negative energy, to remove spiritual blockages that cause misfortune. That's what we're going to deal with quite a bit here when it comes to those particular dynamics. So absolutely, keep that in mind that Akose is about removing the negativity, not bringing in negative dynamics, even going back to that example I was talking about with love. So if you want love, the crochet is designed to bring you the right love for you that's going to benefit your life and your situation. It's not like saying that you're going to go out and let's say you want somebody else's mate, somebody who is married, and this is the person that you want to be with. So you're going to do a crochet to get that person. That's not what a crochet is. Again, you're talking about some black magic with witchcraft, juju, those types of things there. Instead, the crochet will remove blockages from you, whatever you're having, whatever you're dealing with, so that you can attract the right person into your life. But again, you still have to do the work. Not only the work to be out there so that you can find the right mate, but when you get the right mate, you still have to treat the person right. It's not like you just get the mate and they're going to just, treat you like a prince or a princess, and you don't have to do anything in order to make the relationship work out as you desire for it to work out. You still got to do the normal things other people would do. Now, let's transition to the preparation and the uses of Akose. So, pretty much anybody who is trained in this dynamic can make spiritual remedies, right? However, most forms of the Akose that we use in the Ifa tradition is going to require the expertise of an owl or an Orisha or somebody like that to ensure that it's properly aligned, that it's activated right, and that it is effective for the uses that you desire it to work for. But there are a lot of people who absolutely put together crochet remedies, even outside of Ifa, because you see that in voodoo, you see that in hoodoo and things like that. But again, these are people usually who have their special knowledge and training in those particular areas. The best way to determine what Akose you need for your given situation or issue is through either Ifa divination. So it'll come up on its own sometimes through different Odus that is good for you to get Akose for a particular problem that you're having. So you should be told that through the reading process itself. Or you can also do a spiritual investigation. So if you're just having a problem and you think, or you just desire to say, I want some Akose for this, then you can reach out to your owl or, whatever diviner you're working with and ask them to help you to figure out what you need for this particular situation. They're always going to do a spiritual investigation, somebody who is well trained and know what they're doing. Because for one, they're always going to want to know if what you're asking for is in alignment with your destiny. Again, going back to their point. So let's say, for instance, you desire to be a singer, you desire to be a really, really famous singer or something like that. And so you ask them to go and make you some Akose to make that happen. But they're going to check to see if that particular profession or, that desire that you have is in alignment with your destiny. Because if it isn't, it's not going to be something good for you to have just because that's what you want. And so somebody who is accurate and authentic and working within the tradition itself, they are not going to go ahead and do that for you. Will some people do that for you, even though they know that it's not in alignment with your destiny? Yes. But again, that's not part of Isheshe. That's not part of the tradition for somebody to do that. But some people will, if you pay them enough money to. That's how it goes sometimes. So we were kind of getting at this before. I forget your name. You were talking about the PC and all the other offerings, etc. Yes, I can't see it now, but yes, we were talking about this before. So some people are wondering, sometimes wonder, well, why do I do Ebo and why do I do the Akose? As I said before, Ebo, those are the sacrifices and the offerings. Those are going to be requested anytime you get an Ifa reading. That's how it goes. You can absolutely get the Akose in addition to that. It's actually good to work with Akose. I work with Akose in different capacities quite often. It is nothing wrong with utilizing the Akose if you desire it or if you need it. Like that comment here. Oh, okay. Thank you for the love. I thought it was a different comment. Sorry about that, guys. So absolutely, you can do the Ebo. You should do your Ebo if it comes up in a reading, but that is not the same as Akose. Sometimes, even so, when you get Akose, you may need to do a sacrifice or an offering, especially if you're doing something like prosperity work, for instance. Most of the time, it's going to be recommended that you give an offering to IG because she is linked to that dynamic of prosperity, wealth, and things like that. And it may even come up that, you need to give an offering to another Orisha, just depending on what it is for. Thank you so much. I appreciate the super chat. Really, really appreciate it. The name, I don't know how to say it yet, so I don't want to mess it up, but I appreciate you. Let's see. So Akose can be applied as charms or talisman, spiritual soaps. Very, very common to get some spiritual soap to, do washes with. Even so, herbal teas or infusions where you want to drink those things. Powders are very common. So where they actually burn the herbs or what have you, and put it in your hand. This is common. You can do it other ways. It's common to put it in your hand and actually lick it off of your hand. Things like that. Different preparation creams. I think, did I say creams? No, I didn't say creams, but you can also do creams. So many different things. The Akosha is going to be prepared according to its use and according to the way it has been told to be prepared, according to the Odu or what have you. So that's going to be based on the needs there.